Dear all, I'm extremely delighted to be part of this wonderful conference about museums and AI. The second day for me, it's absolutely fantastic in the sense that it puts together museums, AI, architecture and future vision of all that. Here in Wilmotte Associated Architects, we've been working in museums since almost 50 years. It doesn't show that much, but still, that's the truth. And I'm very, very happy that MuseumWeek 2026 called us for a little presentation. So, you know, we always like to do museums. The first one that we actually worked on was in a little exhibition in Nîmes in the early 80s. And the last one we just opened, it's the new Pompidou Museum in Seoul, in South Korea, that it's about to be open on the 4th of June. So I wanted to share with you a few ideas. What's for us museums, the way we create the museal part of our work, and how the artificial intelligence could be a part of it, and what we should do to make it better. To confess that I think we work in few fields like architecture, interior design, master planning, urban design, but museums still are part of our favorite, it's our favorite topic. We started working by chance and because we were chosen over competition in the Louvre with Ian Pei in the mid-90s, and we had the chance to collaborate with him on several projects, ending with the Qatari Islamic Art Museum in 2008, which we renovated 2 years ago. So a new idea that we have, and I would like to share with you, it's our project regarding the new Silk Road Museum in Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, it's our favorite country now, not only, but several others, but this is a topic that I would like to share with you because I would like to show you an example how artificial intelligence can help our real intelligence and our emotional intelligence to be together and to be more performant, more responding to different requirements, but also find different aspects in this kind of collaboration. Let me share with you this magnificent project in Samarkand, that it's a country and the place that everybody dreams of. Many people, they don't know where it is, but I swear it exists. And it's in Uzbekistan, in the middle of the Silk Road, and it's probably the pivot, it's the center of Central Asia. Very old, very powerful city, full of history, traditions, and also full of future. So let me share with you this new project. So dear friends, I'm gonna share with you this wonderful project in Samarkand concerning the Silk Road Museum. So you see, this is the heart of the Silk Road. As I told you, Samarkand, it's really the pivot and the center of the Central Asia. So you have this crossroad of civilization through the centuries, and this is what inspired us, all kind of artwork that it's going from Western Europe and also the north of Africa, going to China, and it's going through different countries, different cultures, but its journey throughout past and future. So this is the land that the future museum of Silk Road is gonna be built in Samarkand, in an area that we very carefully choose, avoiding any archaeological obstacles or features, and trying to be in part of this historical road that it's going to reunify different places and different focal points of this historical road. So here it's very important to relay all that with history, with landscape, and this is a place that Ulugh-Beg, who was the grandson of Amir Timur Tamerlan in Western Europe, created his first observatory that afterwards gave place to different kind of implementation, especially in India 200 years afterwards. So what we started with? We started with reading the historical lens. What are the things that made this country existing? The Karatepe, Afrasiab, that it's the old Samarkand city, and then Gandhara, a very important place on the Silk Road that gave us the first images of Buddha, then afterwards went to India and then to China. And something else that we put in the basket, it's what is land art and how we can implement certain ideas of land art, marrying them with the past in order to create something unique and something in the future. So it's an open-air museum on time and water. You see here we have this very fantastic place where the summer palace of Amir Timur was situated. It was called Koksaray, and we are very close to this new museum, and we try to find a relationship between the existing, the future, and also this land art and this archaeological garden that we would like to keep around the museum. So we decided to start with a square, which is a fundamental form in Islamic cosmology and architecture, but also in all civilization. This is the kind of sacred measure. Then the square became a generator of structure, order, and proportion in Timurid architecture, which was based really on symmetry and geometry. So the geometry became the framework for architectural order and human intellect. Perfectly proportioned square country art from which takes the entire madrasa unfold that we can see in several monuments still present today in Samarkand. So how we make this spatial layout inspired by traditional Timurid architecture, but also more ancient monuments, and to finish with something that is present today in Samarkand since the 13th, 14th century. This is the Silk Road heritage. So putting all this together, we came up with architecture that it's monumental, that it's geometrical, but also it's put in an environment that it's dictated by this landscape, inspired by the Silk Road in this whole, and inspired by what we could consider as the influence of the land art. So we came up with a place on a podium, because we can come up to be able to overview the whole historical monuments in Samarkand and then relate them to the existing ground and the archaeology. So what I wanted to explain to you, what we did, once we had the form, this very regular and geometrical volume, we decided to make it much more contextual. So we took the Silk Road pattern or network, which is something, because there is no one Silk Road, there are at least two, the south one and the north one. And then we discovered that we had a whole set of different Silk Roads. So we took that, we put it through, passed it through the AI, and we received a kind of algorithm that almost a dance that it's putting together all the points that we could find in this kind of net. And then all that gave us a pattern that we applied on the facade, and then we went further in the stylization of the monument. Concerning the interiors, again, the same process, taking something from the local context, from the context of the Silk Road, and marrying it with some reminiscence or inspiration from the international vision of art and architecture, because this is what was the real quintessence of the Silk Road. It's a mixture of civilization, of histories, of people that went through all those centuries, mixing everything. You know, the Tang in China were the most prolificent and the most probably creative. Why? Because they were really related to the Silk Road. And Samarkand, as I said, it was really the center of this, the pivot of this road. And so we started from what we have here in the interiors. We have the Karatepe, the different fortresses, we have the madrasa, we have the Kızıl Kale, which are the monuments that inspired very much Uzbek architecture, but not only Uzbek, because it's a whole kind of region that was affected and inspired by those monuments. And then we decided to do a dialogue between the mass and the void, between the light and the shadow, exactly like you have this in excavated architecture, or also in the work of Shilida, who is a, contemporary international artist. But mixing all that, we arrived to something that it's really unique, because we explore the museal piece and the museal space, and we include inside the monuments, and also we include, of course, all the masterpieces that we would like to present in this museum. The idea was not to put too many pieces, but to put the best pieces, as we decided to have a kind of many Mona Lisas in this monument, and we hope that we are gonna succeed to do that. You see, you have things from a Sogdian period, but also you have different pieces of the contemporary, almost contemporary vision of the Silk Road. So regarding this central space of the atrium, which is the heart of the whole museum, you have several layers. You can read the archaeology, everything which was before, even you can see the ground, and then you go up to the different artwork, so you can have the lecture of 5 different levels at once, if you wish. And to make this related really to the Silk Road, we propose to do a kind of wall of 2 elements of glass, carved or worked on, so with a cinetic effect that we have like the threads of the silk coming around the center of the museum. And we here in Wilmotte and Associated, we like to be contextual. So this museum should be recognizable as a unique museum, very much rooted in the past, but also giving this projection to the future. And also we have 2 levels that are going to be one, it's going to be a level of thematic approach and one chronological approach. So it's going to be a very nice way to show to people what the Silk Road was, what did it bring, and how does it survive today, and what is the most important thing that it brought. So it brought something that puts people together, that explains so many things in the exchanges, because again, the caravans, they were bringing goods, but they were bringing ideas, they were bringing philosophy, sciences, and all that created a kind of world that still exists today. So thank you very much for your attention. I think it's a very nice way to share with you our passions and our new work. Of course, museums are our future because we have to pass all we know to the future generations. And I hope this museum is going to bring a lot of hope, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of new, how can I say, new people that would like to work in museums and spread this everywhere. Thank you very much. And you know, the artificial intelligence is helping us to find maybe the right tuning in the beginning, to give us the keys for something to create in a better way, a faster way, but still without the, I would say, natural intelligence or affective intelligence or architectural intelligence. We can't go beyond that. So thank you very much, and don't hesitate to ask us questions if you wish to.